Coming to you from the Dean E. Smith Center, the home of the 2017 National Champions, I am Greg Barnes, this is Rob Harrington, and we're going to break down the 2017-18 North Carolina Tar Heels. Kenny Williams earned a starting job last year, largely with his defense, but also because his shot started to come around. He made that one three-pointer in the ACC tournament in his freshman year, and Roy Williams was kind of like, hey, where's this been? And we started to see it a little bit. And then, of course, he gets hurt. I think he started 18 games, missed half the season, but was a good cheerleader. But he's got the body. I mean, he's got the physique. He's a good defensive player. With all these new parts and this kind of shifting rotation, how do you see him working into what Roy Williams wants to do?
I think, to your point about the injuries, I think a lot of people are just waiting to see how healthy is he and can he stay healthy, because the competition for minutes on the perimeter is going to be so intense that any kind of a disruption, anything that derails a player for 2 weeks, for example, could really cost that player in the rotation. However, we know a lot of things about Williams already, in that he is happy to perform a utility role. I mean, he eagerly embraced that last year, early in the season in particular. That's how he won so many minutes early on. He can be a capable shooter. I think that he will be a better shooter even than he has shown. I think last year he was in the mid-30s on percentage. Was up and down. Certainly I think he can improve on that. I think that he will have to become a more consistent shot attempter than we've seen in the past, along with his good defense and sound decision-making, a strong body. He just needs to stay healthy, and if he does, I think there's no question whether he starts or he doesn't. He'll play a very substantial number of minutes.
And I think with Kenny, if the post players actually develop and you've got a legit two-man rotation with Luke May at the 4, the minutes are going to be hard to come by, because last year we saw him play alongside Joel Berry, but now we've got Jalek Felton, who can play both positions. Maybe Theo Pinson plays the 2 some when you've got Cam Johnson playing the 3. So it does seem like there are situations where he could see a lot of minutes, but there are also maybe some situations where he's going to be very limited in what he can do.
There's no question about that. I mean, I think it's going to probably everyone will play relatively few minutes early in the season. Everyone will complain about that, of course. But over the course of the year, someone's going to get squeezed out, and maybe 2 players more or less get squeezed out. I think for Williams, it's almost like with better success up front, that might increase his chances relative to some of the other guys, because if you can imagine a scenario where you have Joel Berry, Cameron Johnson, Kenny Williams all knocking down threes and can space the court as well as they could, and with Luke May also being able to step out, that's a very potent offensive team. And Williams, while he may not be a great shooter yet, I think he's the most accomplished of the other contenders. If we consider Cameron Johnson an accomplished shooter, even though he hasn't done it yet at UNC, plus obviously Berry, plus obviously May, I think that would be one of the best Tar Heel shooting lineups we've seen in quite some time.
And I think the other aspect, too, is that Williams is one of those gritty defenders that Roy Williams loves. Those guys always seem to find their way into the rotation at some point.